Hello and welcome to PubShorts episode 55, AI Calling, referring to the famous Clash song London Calling. Hi, Tony.
Seminal Clash song. Hi, KK, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, and let me introduce myself. My name is obviously KK, Dr. KK, and I'm the Innovation Officer at Trinka and Inago. And Tony, please introduce yourself and PubShorts.
And I'm Tony O'Rourke, and I'm VP for Partnerships here at Inago, and I look after relationships with publishers and certain research organizations around the world.
Right, if somebody is listening in or watching us for the first time, where can they watch PubShorts, the previous 54 episodes?
And what is PubShorts? So this is an episodic, uh, weekly, sometimes bi-weekly
Yeah.
podcast where KK and I talk about some of the most recent news articles in the world of scholarly communication, scholarly publishing, and particularly focusing on some of the new technologies that are coming in that will directly shape and impact
Mhm.
the way research is being communicated.
Right, great.
And you can get those episodes on LinkedIn, or better to go to YouTube, where you can find our YouTube channel with all 54 previous episodes loaded.
Yeah.
Um, and if you like this episode, go and watch the other 54 and press the like button, share with your colleagues, and enjoy.
Yeah, spoken like a true millennial, Tony. So,
If only.
so,
I don't even have children.
and so, why are we using the title? Because I mean, obviously we are referring to the song, but why is it AI calling, Tony?
Well, it's because every single story that we're talking about here relates to artificial intelligence
Yes.
and the clarion call of the industry to make sure that we're going down the right path, just like the
Ex-
song.
excellent. So, starting off with the first, there are too many stories, and we are not going to spend too much time with each of these stories. The first one is a title: Do AI robot authors qualify for copyright? It is still no, says appeals court. So, obviously, the title is self-explanatory. The court emphasized that the copyrights require human authorship and not just AI authorship.
Yeah.
And the person who was arguing, so the case was against a person's AI system, and they argued that AI works might already be copyrighted under false pretenses, and the court acknowledged AI assisted human works could not qualify for copyright. So it's basically related to the provenance in terms of content. Can AI claim to have written or generated some content, and can you sort of file a copyright? So your thoughts? Do you have any thoughts on this?
I think this is another one of these sci-fi stories. Really, I think at the moment the appeals court saying that AI generated works can't be copyrighted, but for how long?
Mm.
I'm sure there's going to be a point where the AI tools will start to create unique material, and if it does, then there has to be some kind of ownership assigned um, to that piece of content. I
Right.
mean, what it does for me though, it again, it highlights the importance of transparency and authorship, and helping publishers to identify who the author is, what the roles of the authors are.
Mm-hmm.
We have various tools that can help them to do that, particularly within Inago reports, where we help to disambiguate the author.
Right. And in a related story, Tony, it's an Italian experiment. It's the newspaper. It's an AI generated newspaper. It's an experiment for a month. It's a story from Business Standard with the title AI Makes History. Italy's Il Foglio, if I'm not Folio.
Il Foglio.
Il Folio publishes first fully AI generated newspaper. So once again, it's an experiment. Do not worry too much. So the entire issue, as you can see, is created by or generated by an AI, and it includes obviously articles and headlines, and it has human quotes which are AI generated. Obviously, with the clear sort of transparency that everything is AI generated, and it is a product of intelligence as per the people who are making it, and it's not quite artificial. It's very interesting. So, Tony, are you surprised? I mean, these are experiments, but in terms of deep fakes and everything, I'm sure that there's a lot of content that is already on the internet, which is AI generated, but people are not claiming. But this is an interesting experiment. Your thoughts on
No,
this?
I'm not particularly surprised. I think it's an important experiment. I think it's probably not the first time AI content has been AI has been used to help generate news stories. I think we know that.
Yeah.
But what this for me highlights again is that whole need for transparency, particularly in academic writing.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to refer to the STM Association or even Wiley's recent guidelines to
Right.
understand, what it is the research community needs and what the sort of standards that need to be set.
Yeah.
The guardrails that need to be in place, and that will then, I think, show that AI in this content can be used positively. But if you're using AI, please, 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 to create academic content, please make sure you disclose that.
Right. And Tony, a related story in terms of content creation. It's a story from Ars Technica, and it's titled "A Study Finds AI Generated Meme Captions Funnier Than Human Ones on Average." When I saw this, my heart sank because I think that in terms of humor, at least humans are better than AI as of now. And it is actually true. So I'll read out. So AI generated meme captions are found funnier than human ones on average, and it suggests that AI memes scored better in humor, creativity, and shareability, but humans still created the best individual memes. And the interesting thing, Tony, is that this study is going to be presented at the 2025 International Conference of Intelligent User Interfaces. First, your thoughts on this story, and then I'll ask you a more deeper story in terms of content, let's say provenance in the context of science. So please.
Again, I'm not surprised that some of the memes generated by AI, some of the captions are funnier, because what they're doing is they're learning on the many, many, many millions of memes that have gone before them, and isolate the things that make them humorous. So why not? But those as you said, those deeper connections, to get those really, really deeper connections, you still need to have that human interface to understand, the nuances, and to maybe reflect that in a different way.
Right.
Um,
So
yeah.
I'm going to ask you. So let me switch to the bigger video thing. So Tony, we've talked about content provenance in the context of science, and we have talked about three sort of related stories where one AI authored papers cannot have human copyright like levels. Then we are talking about AI generated entire newspaper, and now we are talking about memes being funnier. So, and you mentioned that when researchers might be using AI assistants in the context of research, maybe in terms of writing or maybe peer review, it is important for disclosure. So why is this important, especially from a research scientific integrity point of view? And what are the measures that publishers need to take, or what are organizations like us doing to help publishers find out content provenance or human involvement in all the research processes?
Well, I suppose I've got two answers to that question, KK. First of all, what are we doing? What have we already got in place that will help publishers to do that?
Mm-hmm.
As anyone who's watched these episodes will know that we talk about our range of AI tools whenever we can. And one of the tools that we have is a tool called Inago Reports, which gives the publisher the opportunity to check the veracity of a paper, and they're checking the structure, the language. Is AI being used to create the content? If so, how much? What's the risk of AI being used? So tools are already there to help, confirm the veracity of the paper. But what the things that we're also looking to do is using AI in a sensible, structured manner, using human assisted methods for things like peer review.
Mm-hmm.
So we're developing a tool called Inago Peer Review Assistant, which will provide peer review reports, a peer review platform for publishers to use and for research organizations to use. And the organization can choose whether they want to have the AI review first with a human interface, or whether it's human review first followed by an AI check. That's important. And that's something that came up when we were talking to publishers and to research organizations. They really expect and want to have that human guardrail in place to make sure that what's being generated is reflective of the science.
Right. And if a publisher is interested in knowing what type of innovations or solutions that we might have, where can they find out more about it, Tony?
Well, I suppose the quickest way would be to contact either you or me, but you can also search for Inago Reports. Just type in Inago Reports on Google or Trinker AI on Google, and they'll take you directly to those pages.
Yeah, and I guess we should also mention that inago.com/publishers lists all the types of innovations that we have.
Oh
And
yeah, absolutely, yeah,
yeah. And so
yeah.
maybe you can find out if you're interested in a pilot, please get in touch with Tony or me, and we will be happy to have a conversation with you. And you can try out our peer review assistant development. So moving on to the next story, Tony, and I'll shift to the screen share first. So the story is titled, it's an Atlantic news story. It's titled The Unbelievable Scale of AI's Pirated Books Problem. I guess, Tony, we have talked about it in the first few episodes of PubShorts. But basically, the AI provider that is under the scanner here is Meta and its model Llama 3, because it has used LibGen. It's a pirated books, I guess, archive to train its model, and Meta considered licensing it, but it found the process to be too slow and expensive. Interesting stance for such a corporate giant to state. And internal Meta communications reveal that the company saw legal risks, but decided to proceed with training the model anyway, which is crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
LibGen, if suppose you're not familiar, Tony, is a vast resource of pirated books and papers with over 7.5 million books available. Now, this is another sort of a red flag for in general in terms of AI licensing, but it's also important in the context because some of these things are copyrighted. And when we have already talked about publishers licensing their content without maybe the consent of the people who have written it originally, things like that. So put this in context in the publishing landscape, academic publishing landscape, please.
Yeah, it's disappointing that they decided it takes too long.
Mm,
We've spoken before about the need for integrity in these practices, and whether it's research or otherwise, and the fact that they've decided to go down the go ahead anyway and and apologize later, is disappointing.
right.
People use Google resources all the time,
Hmm.
and they want to know that they're doing it in the right way. And I don't think this particular project is using a well-known pirated source is necessarily the right way to go ahead.
Right.
And it certainly doesn't give us any insurance in terms of if a publisher is going to then want to license to an organization like this.
Hmm.
Um, so did I say Google Meta? I beg your pardon. That they've got the confidence to do so. So I hope they review their decision.
Yeah, so this is also an important thing in terms of organizations like us or other vendors when we are making AI products, how we store our data.
Yeah,
And we have to be transparent, and we offer a sensitive data plan for
yeah,
enterprises where we do not, we obviously use the data to help them, give them the outputs that they require, but we do not store the data, and we definitely do not use it for training our models as well. Right, Tony?
yeah.
So,
Absolutely right. I mean that. Uh, but they can be confident that data is going to be safe in our hands.
right. Moving on to the next one. This is an AI assistant related story. It is from VentureBeat. It's titled Small Models as Paralegals. LexisNexis distills models to build AI assistants. So LexisNexis that's a tongue twister, a legal research company, and its protege is its AI assistant, and it uses. I mean, this company uses smaller, fine-tuned models like Mistral for legal assistance tasks. So protege is designed to help with legal document writing and proofing, ensuring accuracy in citation. Sounds like something that we are working on, Tony. The AI assistant is customized to learn the firm's workflow, offering a tailored experience. And the company also uses a multimodal model approach, and you chooses the right sort of model development approach to eventually get the right results. I mean, all of this sounds like what we do for publishers in terms of creating customized bespoke solutions, right, Tony?
Yeah. Obviously, LexisNexis is one of the world's largest legal publishers. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's part of Reed Elsevier, huge organization. I can't think of a single law firm in the world that wouldn't be using a LexisNexis
Mm-hmm.
resource in some way. Um, and what they've identified are tools here which can help accelerate the discovery process in terms of legal documents, legal writing, um, and as you say, creating an AI assistant similar to what we do for academic writing,
Mm-hmm.
to more quickly generate material to support legal findings. So I think it's a very interesting. I'm sure not the first and only one of these developments to come up. So we'll see a lot more models like this coming up in lots of different subject areas.
All right. Moving on to the next AI story, which is, I think we partially touched on it in the last episode with Gemini's 2.0 Flash. So this is titled OpenAI launches GPT 4.0 new image generation into ChatGPT, showing unbelievably better results. So the title is obvious. DAL E3 is being phased out, and the new features allow for text rendering and visual inspiration from uploaded images. And the good news is that OpenAI is implementing guardrails to prevent misuse. Unlike, with the original Gemini announcement came with the concern regarding copyrighted images and watermarks being removed. So maybe there are guardrails put in place by OpenAI, and users will own the images, Tony, they generate in adhering to usage policy. So interesting, and it is a step. It's a forward step in the context of image manipulation and image manipulation detection in academic research. I think you would agree with what I'm just saying.
I do agree, and were two things. I think we talked about this in an earlier episode. Image creation and image manipulation are two quite separate things, and these tools are being used for image creation from the start. And they're producing some very high quality results. If you're a publisher and you're uncertain about whether there's been any kind of manipulation in the image that's been provided in the research article, then we have a tool, a service, I should say, as part of our research integrity suite that will detect manipulation in an image. And we'd urge you to visit inaga.com to find out more about that service.
All right, so Tony, these were the actual long form stories. Now we have a bunch of quick hits, all are related. So the first thing is dated now because it was 2 weeks ago, but NVIDIA, the biggest GPU maker in the world, and I guess that's most wanted stock in the world as well. NVIDIA is hosting a Super Bowl of AI. Quickly, do you follow American sports and Super Bowl?
I don't, I'm afraid. No, I seem to be a bit of an outlier here. Most of my friends and colleagues will follow the Super Bowl or the baseball or the basketball or something in the US. I don't so far. Yeah. I may do in the future, but no. Yeah, so many other sports take my attention.
Yeah, so just to contextualize, the Super Bowl is the biggest sporting event in the US, and what this title basically means is that NVIDIA has its own sort of big event, and this has become bigger over the course of the last few years. So this has grown from a small academic event to a major AI industry gathering, and it obviously NVIDIA is a leader, and it has shifted, as into, again, to put things in perspective, it has shifted from gaming PCs and I guess chips to AI development, and that's why we are talking about this as an intro into the actual announcement itself. NVIDIA has announced Blackwell Ultra and Rubin AI chips. So these are advanced chips, Tony, which will obviously improve the capabilities of the systems that and eventually the large language models that are hosted, and the NVIDIA sales have increased tremendously, sixfold or something like that, and these are expected to sort of improve the already incredibly advanced results that we are getting with the current generation of chips. So your thoughts, especially in terms of eventually people breaking our security, whatever protocols that we have established thanks to the more powerful AI tools out there?
Not a great deal. I know there's more and more competition now to NVIDIA than there was, with more chips being developed that will provide the same or similar levels of service, but at a lower cost. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see what the conference comes up with. I'm particularly interested to see, what Jensen Huang fashion icon will be wearing at that particular event, because he's well known for his excellent taste in clothing.
So, Tony, the conference has already taken place. I haven't haven't kept up with what he has worn, but this was the announcement from the conference, the NVIDIA conference. Yeah. So, and in a related story, there's a Nature News article which states AI could soon tackle projects that take humans weeks, and this is in terms of job replacement and job loss of humans. So, the article or the the research involved in this introduces a new metric called task completion time horizon, which measures how quickly AI models can complete tasks compared to human experts. And the capabilities are apparently doubling every 3 to 7 months since 2019. And by 2029, it is predicted that AI could manage tasks that take humans about a month, achieving wait, it should be there should be a time limit there, but it's in a much shorter duration. Something that could take a human a month would take AI much less. Is the point, with about 50% success rate. So this is obviously concerning, and these are some of the graphs that show the advancing. We are from GPT-2 in 2020. We are already here, and things are so much more. So is there a concern in the publishing industry that AI could replace human beings, or do you still expect AI to be an assistant in the context of research and academic workflows?
Well, I think with the state of the art today, my view today is that AI is absolutely the responsible use of AI is supporting human activities. Whether that's always the case, I think we'll have to see. But certainly, in terms of ensuring the integrity of research and the validity of research, that human step is absolutely critical.
Right.
But who's to say over the next 10, 20 years how that's going to change?
Yeah, the answer to that is approximately 59 minutes. AI could quickly finish, is what is given there. Basically, AI is much faster than humans, and it will become, in terms of quality, also comparable with humans.
And I was going to say, and we're working with publishers. We work with many publishers who are using our tools to support their workflow. So they're not jobs aren't suddenly disappearing because they're using our tools. It's like 50 years ago when. Or 40 years ago, when laptop computers or desktop computers were introduced into the office, jobs didn't suddenly disappear, but the way the work was being done changed. So what we're going to see is an upscaling of the workforce to understand the technology and make use of the technology rather than replacing the workforce. Right. But how long that's going to last, we don't know.
Yeah, so I think I would like to clarify what the horizon means, that in terms of AI being able to successfully complete tasks, the more the complex task, more a task is complex, the more time it would take for a human, right? So in 2020, AI could successfully complete tasks that approximately took humans a minute, and now it is about 59 minutes, and it'll be in 2029, it'll be about a month, which is crazy. That's the explanation for the horizon not making sense when I read out my notes.
Oh, that's bizarre, isn't it?
I mean,
it seems counterintuitive somehow.
No, what I mean is, Tony, if suppose you were in 2020, let's say you are doing something in a minute, and the AI could at that point in time do that task independently. In 2025, if you take 1 hour to do some task, the AI can do that independently, and by 2029, what could take you a month could be done independently by AI. That's what AI is not taking this long.
Okay, yeah. I understand.
Yeah. Now, moving on to the next story, it is a very interesting in the context of copyright and licensing. So it is titled "Cloudflare builds an AI to lead AI scraper bots into a horrible maze of junk content." So Cloudflare is a global network that enhances the security, performance, and reliability of websites and applications by acting as a content delivery network. I guess you're aware of it. A reverse proxy sort of a thing. So what it has done, it has developed a new AI-based tool called AI Labyrinth to combat unauthorized AI scrapers. This tool generates misleading content to trap and waste the resources of AI bots, aiming to deter them and identify the bad actors. So people who do not have the permission to scrape, when they are scraping, they'll get identified. I think it's a good measure, and Cloudflare is a leader.
Yeah, absolutely good measure. I think if you're going to use content, that content should be licensed in the proper, legitimate, legal way.
Right. And next quick hit, AI bots are destroying open access, which is also sort of related to it. So many open access sites, including libraries and archives, are under attack by AI bots. And this is what Cloudflare, this sort of the development might prevent. And libraries and nonprofits face significant challenges as bots consume server resources, which is important to consider, and often leading to service outages. So we need some technological advances to prevent this. And Cloudflare has just done this. And that's why I sort of presented this article after the Cloudflare article. So it's important. It's important.
I can see more industry collaboration in this as well to ensure there's less and less of this abuse happening, and to control it and to legislate against it.
Yeah. And the second last news story, it's a quick hit. Google is rolling out Gemini's real-time AI video capabilities. This is sort of a follow up to the photo editing capabilities. Now, apart from obviously being able to edit, it can see. It can see what's on your screen, and it can use the feed that is coming from your camera. And this makes it very omnipotent in the sense that it can see things as well. This is the way omni ingestion works in the context of AI. So users can ask questions to Gemini regarding what they are seeing in the cameras. I think it was already there in a limited version, but the fact that LLMs can now see your screen and help the user, it is an accessibility sort of improvement for people who are challenged in terms of interacting. Very interesting developments, but I also see concerns. Your thoughts, Tony?
Uh, I, this is so far beyond my use of the technology. I struggle to understand kind of how this is going to be used.
Right. Okay, let's keep a watch on this. And the last story we have in this episode is Microsoft announcing a security AI agent to help overwhelmed humans. So Microsoft is building assistants to help humans in the context of security. So these agents will help manage tasks like phishing alerts and data loss, and third-party collaborations that Microsoft is already sort of in with include OneTrust and Aviatrix. I'm not familiar with the second name, and eventually it will lead to improving phishing and scam protection for Microsoft Teams as well. So eventually Microsoft, the suite, will have more protections because of AI assistance, which is the trend across industries. You would also agree the publishing industry is also going to be full of AI assistants to sort
Oh,
of.
absolutely right. And we're already seeing it. You know, publishers introducing more AI-based screening tools like Inago reports, yeah, and also our peer review assistant to help them to manage their workflows
Mhm.
correctly. So yes, there is already intelligent, responsible use of this going on within publishing.
Excellent. So that brings us to the end of episode 55, AI calling. So quickly, Tony, if somebody were to want to reach out to you and tell you or I that they want us to cover some stories, how can they do it?
Yeah, sure. They can contact either KK or me on LinkedIn. You can find us both there, or you can contact me directly at tonyo@inago.com. And if you've enjoyed this episode and you'd like to see further episodes, I did urge you to visit our YouTube channel for PubShorts, where you'll see all previous 54 episodes.
Yes,
Coming,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
a lot that have been recorded. Like and share those episodes, and send us your ideas for future topics for these recordings. And we really appreciate all of you that have written to us so far with suggestions and ideas for topics.
Thank you, Tony. And with that, we come to the end of this episode. We will see you in the next one. And on behalf of Tony and the team that helps us bring this content to you, this is Dr. KK signing off. Bye for now. Bye, Tony.
See you next time.